Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Hope you people are enjoying my channel and you are enjoying this journey of learning with us. I hope you all have subscribed my channel. Today's my topic is reproduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is basically a process of production of offspring. It is basically a very important process for all living organisms to reproduce so that they can produce a young ones of their own kind and they can continue their species. There are two main types of reproduction, sexual and asexual reproduction. And what is the difference between these two types of reproduction? Because the objective is same, they both produce a new young ones. But there is some difference in between these two types of reproduction. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved, so there is no need of gametes, means they don't require any mate to reproduce or to produce a new young ones. And offsprings are genetically identical or same as their parents. In case of asexual reproduction, the newly formed young one is totally identical to the parent. But in case of sexual reproduction, we see that this process requires two parents and involve the fusion of gametes. That the process is called fertilization. And offsprings are genetically different from each of the parent, but they are of the same species, but they have some differences from their parent, and that brings basically variety in the living organism. This is the point where we can see a variety within a species. Now, the process of reproduction is very important in order to sustain the life of different type of living organism, different type of species on this planet Earth. And this process is basically followed by all plant, animals, small insects and bacteria, fungi, all other forms of organisms, living organisms are following this process of reproduction. If we talk about reproduction in living organism, we see like this, that in case of asexual reproduction, here you can see an amoeba cell, a unicellular organism, how it is producing young ones of the same kind. It basically divides its nucleus first into two different nuclei, and then gradually it start pressing its cytoplasm, and now finally these two new daughter cells are formed, which are genetically similar to the parent cell. This is a kind of reproduction which is followed by amoeba, and all other small unicellular organisms are following asexual reproduction, where they usually divide their cells into two in order to divide or in order to increase their population. Now, in case of sexual reproduction, we can take the example of humans, where we have two different sex, male and female, and they both produce their egg cells in male, in female, and sperm in male. And the process of fertilization take place where a new cell is formed, which is called zygote, and then this zygote converted into an embryo by the division of cells or by following the process of mitosis. So these are the two types of reproduction which different type of organisms are following in order to increase their population. With reference to the type of cells in the body, we will see here about two type of cells which are present in the body of living organisms, like the non-reproductive or somatic cells and gametes or spores. In plants, in humans, in other forms of animals, we have mostly the body is composed of diploid cells, which are basically the cells which are having a complete set of chromosomes, and the haploid cells are the gamete cells, which are having the half the number of chromosomes in them, and these gametes, when fused with the gamete of the other sex, they fertilize and then they produce a diploid organisms again. In case of plants, we take the examples of pollen grains. Pollen grains are the male reproductive cells of the plant body, and plant cells have ovum, where ovule, where they have egg cells, and these pollen grains used to fuse with that egg cells in order to bring the zygote, and then that zygote further multiply, divide, and grow in order to make the fruit. Now, what is mean by diploid and haploid? Plants and animals are having these chromosomes in their cells. Chromosome is basically the genetic material which is present within the cell in the form of thread. But they used to arrange themselves at the time of cell division. When cell is ready to divide in order to produce new daughter cell, those chromosomes arrange themselves like this manner. In the cell, they have chromosomes in the form of these diploid cells. Each chromosome is having a pair. You can see here 2 copies of each chromosome, and they are called as homologous chromosome. Each of these chromosomes, if we talk about the diploid cells of humans, we have 46 chromosomes in our cells, and 46 chromosomes are present in the form of 23 pairs. And each pair is having 1 chromosome from father side and 1 chromosome from mother side. So these chromosomes arrange themselves accordingly, and they are called as homologous chromosomes. Why they are called as homologous chromosomes? Because apparently they look similar to each other. Their length is similar to each other. So all the 46 chromosomes in human cells, in human diploid cells, are arranged like this in form of pairs, 23 pairs, and each pair is having a chromosome from father side and 1 from mother side. And they used to make a pair like this when they are apparently similar, so they make pair like this. But in case of haploid cell, means in case of gamete cells are the reproductive cells of the body. In case of gamete cells, we have single chromosomes. You can see over here, we can see single chromosomes in the haploid cells, in gamete cells. And when these haploid cells fuse with another haploid cells, they used to become diploid again. And the condition is called fertilization. The situation where these haploid gametes fuse with the other haploid gametes to bring about the zygote. The process of this fusion is called fertilization. Okay, now if we talk about the process of growth, first of all we need to understand the structure of cell and chromosomes. Now here you can see that the human cells contain chromosomes, and if we unzip the chromosomes, we can see a long molecule, a long thread, a long molecule of DNA, and each segment in the DNA is considered as genes. This is how the transmission of characters take place from one generation to the next generation, that these genes are having the information related to the organisms, and these organisms always produce a young ones of the same kind, because these genes are transferred to the next generation in the process of reproduction. In the process of reproduction, we are basically having gametes, which are basically composed of these DNA molecules, these genes, and these genes in the form of haploid gametes transfer to the next generation, and that is the reason every organism produces young ones of their same species. So genes are basically the segment of DNA molecule, and DNA molecules are present in the chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of DNA, and chromosomes are present in the cell, and we have 23 pairs of chromosomes in our cells. So during the process of reproduction, these chromosomes basically divide themselves and they turn from diploid to haploid cells, and then they pass on or copy the information from one generation to the next generation. Here I will discuss the process of mitosis. Mitosis is a very important process which is responsible for the growth of an individual. Due to this process, the organism increases in height, in health, and size. And this is what kind of process? This is basically a process where the organism divide their cells in order to make two new daughter cells of the same kind. Mitosis can be considered as an example of asexual reproduction. Mitosis takes place in the body of humans after the fertilization, when two haploid gametes fuses together to form a first diploid zygote. After that, zygote will follow the process of mitosis to further increase in size and to turn into the shape of an embryo. Now, what mitosis is? This is the process which is basically divided into four stages: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. In prophase, all the chromosomes basically arrange themselves into this form of chromosomes. Before that, the chromosomes were in the form of chromatin thread in the nucleus of the cell. These chromatin threads arrange themselves to become chromosomes like this, and now these chromosomes will align themselves in the center of the cell on equatorial plane. At this stage, the nuclear membrane has been vanished, has been disappeared, and all these processes taking place in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now you can see that here we are taking the example of two chromosomes. We cannot obviously draw 46 chromosomes. We are taking the example of two chromosomes here, and these chromosomes are basically, they have made their copy. Initially these chromosomes were like this, and when they enter into the phase of mitosis, they make a copy of themselves like this, and they join their copy with each other. Now here you can see that these are the two chromatids. After making a copy of of each other of same kind, they are now holding their copies with them with the help of a protein that is centromere, and they are appearing like this. So here basically there are two chromosomes, not four, but here there are four chromatids. Chromatid means the copy of the parent chromosome. So we begin with this journey of mitosis with these chromosomes. They arrange themselves on the equatorial plane. This stage is called metaphase. Now on the opposite sides of the cells, a structure called centriole appears. The function of centriole is to hold these chromosomes from the point of their centromere like this. This is the centromere. So these chromatin thread produced by the centriole will hold the chromosome from the point of their chromatids, and they will start pulling them towards the opposite pole like this. So you can see that these chromatids get separated from each other and they are start moving towards the opposite pole. Now again the nuclear membrane reappear. Still they are in the same cytoplasm, but they are now having nuclear membrane around them, and now they are acting as a two separate nucleus within a cytoplasm, and then gradually the cytoplasm divides, and then they form two daughter cells, and each cell is having the same number of chromosomes. Like in the beginning we had two chromosomes, now in the end we have again two chromosomes, and they are similar to the parent cell. Don't get confused that here it is two chromosome. It is not two chromosome. It is basically the chromatid which is held by the parent chromosome. So in this way the process of mitosis helps the living organism to get increase in size and to grow the cells and to have the new cells which is genetically identical to the parent cell. I hope you have understood today's topic, and you will keep watching Biotic Academy. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Take care.